Good morning, everybody. Hope you had a wonderful weekend and you're ready to have a great week as well. So here we go. And as always, any questions, concerns, just go ahead and type them in. We'll address them as we come across them. So just want to talk about something. This is the reason, I don't know if you guys get it, but you are what's standing between your clients and disaster in so many ways. You are the top of the top of advisors out there because you know and are learning about things that no other advisor is talking about. You are putting your clients in positions that are protecting them from all sorts of things. One of the things being this thing right here. We're going to talk about two things today. One is long-term care and how you are preventing your clients from having problems with that in a very specific and unique way. But the one thing I want to just talk about as a pointer today is the 10 scariest states ranked by pension promises. So North Dakota's pension, their state municipal pension is only funded at 29%. Massachusetts is only funded at 29%. Hawaii is only funded at, that means, guys, how much of it is not funded? Let's use our high math skills here. Let's get a few of you put that in there. If they're 29% funded, that means they're how much not funded? High math, I know it's early. Thank you, Dino. 71% not funded, unfunded. New Hampshire, 28% funded. Kansas, 28% funded. Mississippi, 27% funded. Alaska, 25% funded. Kentucky, 24% funded. Connecticut, 23% funded. Illinois, 22% funded. So what does this mean? Why should this be scary to our clients? Because, it's only talking about the municipal pension, so not all of our clients work for the state governments, right? So why should it, most of our clients don't work for the state governments. So why should this even concern us then? Why is this scary? And think about this, guys. This is the top, they're going to go under. Yeah, what does that mean? How will that affect our clients, do you know? How's that going to affect our clients? Taxes, I'd agree with that. Michael, how else could that affect our income? Yeah, it'd affect, Trevor, I'd agree with that. Guys, can I ask you a question? What would happen to the marketplace if some of these pension funds start going under? Bailouts, Fern, I would agree. The ripple effect to their 401k, yeah, I would agree. I mean, panic, government bailout, all sorts of bad things. And guys, this is 29% funded is horrible, and this is only 10. I mean, if we go up to the top 50 or top 25, you're looking at still less than half funded. The bonds collapsing, Rick, I would totally agree with that. So how do we protect our clients from this kind of stuff? Well, at least we know about it, and we have their account set up for what? Both the good and the bad. Now, so I just wanted to, I mean, this was disturbing to me to see this. But the real thing I want to talk about today is what we're talking about with protecting our clients from the terrible things that can happen with long-term care. And I'm not talking actually about long-term care costs directly. I'm going to be talking about it indirectly. It's something that I've heard nobody talk about or address. So what it is how it affects the money that we can pull out of our accounts. So I love this Get Smart. Missed it by that much. So with all the things out there, well, first of all, what have we learned about the 4% withdrawal rule? What have we learned about the 4% withdrawal rule since 2008? Actually, since 2000. BS, yep. Too heavy, doesn't work anymore, not enough. Exactly. It's not, and so this thing was gospel, and now we found out it isn't enough. And not only have we found out it's not enough just for the fact of straight income, guess what nobody is talking about? How long-term care and medical costs affect that 4% withdrawal rate. So I want to talk about that today. So now here's something that we should all, and those of you guys that have worked with me for 3, 4, 5 years have heard me say this before, but it's worth repeating. LIMRA says people are far more concerned with having enough money for themselves than they are with leaving an inheritance. And that's why when I listen to all these estate planning people and all this life insurance people and all this talking about estate planning so that the people can leave money for their kids, I say bah humbug, because how many people do you see with this? I'm spending my kids' inheritance bumper sticker on the back of their RV or on their little sports car. I mean, I see it all the time. You know what I don't see? A piece of crap car driving around saying, I'm driving this crap car because I'm saving money from my kids. So the fact is, do people really, people's opinion is this: the kids, they want to make their kids wealthy when they die, or the kids will get what they get when they die? They want to make the kids wealthy when they die, or the kids will get what they get when they die? What's most people's opinion? Yeah, they get what they get, exactly. So trying to use life insurance to create this wonderful estate plan is just, that's a fool's errand. Unless you're working with the if you're working with people with $30-40 million, have at it. But for the people we work with, the mass affluent, do the mass affluent think that they have enough money to live the life they want without fear with running out of? I mean, the fact is that even the mass affluent don't feel like they can. They're living exorbitant lifestyles. Okay, so because of that, and the main reason because of that is because they're afraid of what will happen with health care costs. That's one of the main things that people are afraid of. Now the numbers: age 90, 38% of men and 50% of women will live to age 90. I mean, that's unbelievable. 38% of men and 50% of women will live to age 90. For couples, 19% of them will both live to age 90. That's just mind-blowing to me. Almost 20% of couples both will live to age 90. 69% of couples, either husband or wife, will live to age 90. I mean, these are incredible numbers. Age 95, 15% of men will reach 95. 25% of women will reach 95. Age 100, 3% of men will reach 100. 9% of women. 9% of women. That blows me away. Now, these numbers are good or bad? Well, they're both. They're good and they're bad. Why are they good? Well, because people are living longer. That's terrific. So give me some reasons why they're bad. Cost, Roy. What do you mean by cost? They'll run out of money. Long-term care costs, run out of resources, outlive. Yeah, so the thing is, the longer they live, the more money they need to live. Michael Smith hit it on the head, money and health care needs. So I got a lot of both, but he hit both of them. The longer you live, the more money you're going to need, and the more you think, the longer you live, the healthier you are. Do you think you're going to spend more or less money in health care? Here's the irony. I think it's ironic. The healthier you are, will you spend more? If you're really healthy when you're older, are you going to spend more or less money in health care? If you're really healthy when you're older, you're going to spend more or less money on health care. Tony got it. Trevor got it. Bill got it. They all said more. You're exactly right. You're going to spend more. Why? Because if you're in poor health, you're likely to what? If you got high blood pressure, heart problems, type 2 diabetes, you're going to die. So you won't spend as much money on health care. The healthier you are, the longer you're going to live, and that means the more you're going to spend on health care. That's what we want to talk about. Does Medicare pay for everything? Does Medicare pay for everything? No, it does not. Medicare covers an average of 62% of health care costs up to age 6, or for those age 65 and up. Medigap covers 13%. So now let's work your high math skills again. If Medicare is covering 62% and Medigap is covering, and other private insurance covering 13%, how much is coming out of pocket? 25% is coming out of pocket. And that ends up being a lot of moolah. See, living longer causes problems. You need to have income for a longer period because you're going to live longer, and healthcare costs go up because you're living longer. And that's a lot of moolah. See, Fidelity says a 65-year-old couple will spend on average $220,000 out of pocket, and that's in 2013 dollars. That's what Fidelity says. And a lot of say, well, maybe they have some sort of bone to pick, right? Well, the Society of Actuaries say it's $208,000 in 2013 dollars. So can we agree then it's somewhere over $200,000? Well, yeah, Bruce says that sounds low. That's because it's an average. Well, some people spend way more than this. Yes, and some people will spend way less than this. This is the average of what somebody or a couple will spend. This is crazy money. So where is that? What is that $200,000 plus going for? What's going for Medicare premiums? It's going for deductibles, going for co-payments, going for doctor, hospital, and drug costs. It's going for vision costs. It's going for hearing costs. It's going for dental costs. It's going for all of those things. That's a lot of money. And how many people are planning for those kind of costs? How many people are planning for those kind of costs? And again, I agree with Bruce. This seems low because some people, I mean, half the people are going to spend way more than that, and half are going to spend less than that. But half spending way more than $200, that's a lot. So at age 65, 7 in 10 people will, if you make it to age 65, 7 in 10 people will need long-term care. Now, there's different types of long-term care. There's post-acute, which means the care you need after surgery, you break your hip or something like that. The average stay for that kind of care is 36 days. And how much of that is covered by Medicare? Most of it. Most of it. Chronic long-term care, though, the average is 3.7 years for men, 2.2 years for women. So now you start to see where some of that money can start to add up. Now, if $100 is needed to pay for long-term care, families pay for $71 out of pocket. Now, here's a big problem that's coming down the tubes. Why is it a problem that families are paying $71 out of pocket? Let's look into the future. What kind of things in the future are going to make that a very scary number? A very scary number. First of all, what's happening to the size of families? Inflation, yeah, Michelle, but inflation is the biggest thing because those are 2013 numbers. But here's the thing. Are families getting bigger or smaller? Which means, are there more people or less people to take care of mom and dad? Less people. Less people to physically take care of them, less people to chip in to pay for them, less people to even care about whether they get taken care of or not. Different family dynamics, geography. Do families live close to each other anymore? More and more people live where? All over the country. Do families get divorced? Way more than our parents did. And then remarriages. What's the matter with remarriages? Why do you think remarriages is a problem when it comes to this? What happens with remarriages? Is everybody new Yeah, that's right. New obligations and virtually no obligations, Bruce. You're exactly right. You hit it on the head. The new spouse does not want to kick in exactly. Blend, a difference of opinion, all those things are right. Double of opinion, double the number of parents. Double the number of parents. Think about that. Now you have two sets of parents to take care of, right, Bill? And somebody new to take care of, Tony. So, I mean, there's all sorts of problems to this. And people are now starting to outlive their children, too, more and more often. When you live to 90, is there a chance you're going to outlive your child? Yeah. Let's see what Mike says. Michael says, most will spend much less than the days of uncompensated care. First 100 days of skilled nursing care. Yeah, he's saying we're developing a two-tier system where poor citizens get care, wealthy clients pay for care. Those in the middle will be on their own. So I totally agree with that. So, I mean, it's getting ugly all over the place. So making retirement money last. So the reason I want to talk about this is not necessarily about long-term care as much as how it affects your withdrawal rate. And too many advisors are completely ignoring this. How many advisors, when they talk about the 4% withdrawal rate, and again, a lot of guys are starting to wise up with this now, not doing that, but with the 4% withdrawal rate, we're even considering the cost of health care. No, all they were doing was looking at what? They were looking at Monte Carlos and seeing the likelihood of running out of money based on what the clients normally spend, not including health care costs. So if you look at this, making money in retirement last, inflation-adjusted returns to the U.S. stock market, this is pretty much an eye-opener, though. 1926 to 2011, stocks averaged 6.5%. How many people do you think would even get close to that, including advisors, would guess that stocks only averaged 6.5% between 1926 and 2011? Some experts predict 3 to 4.6% going forward because of lots of things that I've been talking about over the last year. Bonds 2.3. Some say that because we're at such low interest rates that can only go down. Inflation at 3. Experts say it's going to be about 2.5%. So odds of withdrawing 4% a year from a retirement account with a 50-50 are 94% if bonds follow historic averages. If bonds return to zero after inflation, which is it could very well happen, it's a 67% chance of running out of money. And if bonds return to negative 1.4%, which is totally possible, you could be at a 43% chance. Of having enough money. I was saying those backward. 94% chance of having enough money, 67% chance of having enough money. But these numbers are like average numbers. They're not taking a lot of things into effect. One of the things that take into effect is whether it's a man or a woman. So women should be pulling out less money. Why should women be pulling out less money? Why should women be pulling out less money? Live longer, exactly. So we've got to take things into consideration. So this is an awesome article from Journal of Financial Service Professionals. And it's safe withdrawal rates incorporating the full range of healthcare costs. So it's taking two couples. So if I can get my little handy-dandy highlighter here. So we've got Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and we've got Mr. and Mrs. Johnson, okay? And so life expectancy, so which one of these, let's see if we're both reading the charts correctly, which one of these people are likely to live longer, the Smiths or the Johnsons? Which one of these people are likely to live longer, the Smiths or Johnson? Make sure we're all reading the charts. The Smiths, right, because they got a 19 and a 20 and a 23-year, 24-year expectancy versus a 14 and a 16. So obviously then that's their preferred risk, right, because they're healthier. And these people have standard risks. That's why they're likely to die sooner, because they're both 65, right? So they're just likely to die sooner because they have standard risk. They've got some problems. Now, long-term care plan. So they buy a high-end plan, they buy an average plan. So we go down to chronic conditions. So over here, the reason they're standard risk is they have high blood pressure, arthritis. They have high blood pressure, arthritis, mild respiratory disease. So, they've got some, are these horrible things, or do you run across clients with high blood pressure and arthritis all the time? Maybe some mild respiratory. Are these terrible things? Are they in the last leg, or are they just things that you see a lot with clients? Yeah, you see them frequently, Bill. So the Smiths, they got Medicare Part A, B, and D, and the Johnsons buy A, B, D, and Medicare Supplement Plan F because they're standard risk. They know they might need more help, so they're going to go ahead and get some more. Now, net worth-wise, who's richer, though? So obviously, Mr. and Mrs. Smith are richer health-wise, but who's richer money-wise? The Smiths or the Johnsons? Yeah, the Johnsons have more money here. They have $1.2 million. They have twice as much money as the Smiths. So the Smiths are healthier health-wise, but the Johnsons are healthier money-wise. Okay? So here's the allocation. They've got basically, if you look at this, they've got high-yield bonds. They've got 10, 30, 40, 50. 50% of their money in equities, because high-yield bonds act like equities, and 50% of their money in conservative. So 50-50. So does that seem reasonable to everybody? And then they both have the same amount of Social Security income coming in, $3,000 a month. Okay? So let's look at how this is going to affect them going forward. So I got to change my little handy-dandy tool here. Oh, I got to erase all my handy-dandy tools. Okay. So this is the Smiths. Now remember, the Smiths had what? They were healthier, but less money. They were healthier. So what's the likelihood? I'll make sure I'm right here. Yeah, the Smiths are healthier. So this is a list in today's dollars, and this is inflated dollars, of what they're going to spend on healthcare costs. So look at where we're at with the, they have a 50-50 chance of spending $312,000. But you get down here, they have a 2% chance of spending a 1.4 million. So Bruce, when you say that sounds light, you're right. You got a 2% chance of spending over $1,464,000. And then if you add inflation, look at what that turns into. That's huge. I mean, isn't that huge? So 50 over here, even at 312 for inflation, that's $622,000 they're going to spend on not on long-term care, on health care, on average, 50-50 chance. So how much money did they have, guys? Do you remember how much the Smiths had to begin with? How much money? See if you guys are paying attention here. They had $600,000, which means how much of their money is going to go to health care? All of it. So is that in anybody's plan? So 4% withdrawal rate, heck, the 4% is, you can't take, not only is it 4%, it's 0% withdrawal rate, because they're going to spend all of it on health care. I mean, is that amazing or is that not amazing? I mean, that is amazing in a bad way. But even at 10%, virtually that means 10% of people, or 90% of people, because only remember, because we're going back to 90% of people are going to spend at least 150, so 90% of people are going to spend 239 in what? Because remember when we were talking about that 220, 208, that was in 2013 dollars. So when we inflate it, that means 90% of people are going to spend $239,000 in real money, and that's at a 4% inflation rate. Do you think 4% is conservative or aggressive for the how much healthcare is going to go up? So this could be way worse, right? So this column can be way worse. So do you see how even if your clients are healthy, that doesn't really help them with healthcare costs, does it? And how many people are preparing their clients for this? I don't hear it talked about nearly often enough. So any questions on this chart here before I move forward? Any questions on this chart? Okay, so this is the Smiths. Now we're going to go to the Johnsons, who remember had average or a standard rate because they had arthritis and they had high blood pressure, and they had $1.2 million. So now we're to the Johnsons. So I'll go back to my handy dandy drawing tool here. So they have a 50-50 chance of spending $217, which in inflated dollars is $342. So, but still, $342 as compared to the $1.2 million they had, how much is that going to eat into their savings? And that's 50-50. Again, down here they have a 2% chance of spending $1 million or a 2% chance of spending $2 million. Now, why are these numbers smaller? Why are these inflated numbers smaller, guys? Why are these inflated numbers way smaller than the Johnsons? Aha, Tony got it. No, it doesn't have anything to do with how much money they have. This is how much money they're going to spend. So it has nothing to do with how much money they're going to have. Yeah, I'm getting a lot. Charles got it right. Tony's got it right. Michael's got it right. Yeah, they're not going to live as long. They're going to die sooner, so their health care costs are what? Even though they're not as healthy, because they're not as healthy, they're going to die sooner, so their health care costs are lower. Does that make sense to everybody? So any questions on this one? I think 4%. Any questions on this? So look at this number here. So this is the table they're talking about. Initial safe withdrawal percentage, 4%, and with the Johnsons is 5%. Why is it 5% with the Johnsons, guys? Yeah, they have more money. So if they have more money, they can pull out more money. Also, they have a shorter life. Good job, Michael. So they have a 5% withdrawal rate. And probability of success, 94.32. There's still a small chance of running out of money with 4% or 5%. But can we say that, I mean, that's a pretty good chance. An average legacy, so they're going to leave, on average, almost $1 million and a little over $1 million to their loved ones with this. But what is that not including, guys? What's that not including? Yeah, healthcare. No, it is including inflation, but it's not including healthcare. It's not including healthcare costs. Look at Part B here. Part B, probability of success with healthcare costs. So now we're down to what? Remember, the Smiths were the healthy people. They're going to live longer. They've only got a 40% chance of not running out of money if they use 4%. So that means they got a 60% chance of running out of money, a 62% chance of running out of money. And the Johnsons, even though they're going to die sooner, still have a 27% or 26% chance of running out of money. So what's the likelihood of, how much of a hit is healthcare having on the withdrawal rate? Little or big? Little or big? Again, even with the people who are not that healthy, it has a pretty big hit. Because how many people would say, yeah, you got a 70% chance of not running out of money? How many people would be okay with a 70% chance of not running out of money? If you went to a client and said, yeah, this plan gives you a 70% chance of not running out of money, how many of your clients would be okay with that? So I got somebody said the most would be okay. Michael, please go to your clients and ask them, hey, I've got a plan where you got a 70% chance of running out of money, and I think you're going to find that they're not going to be okay with a 70% chance of running out of money. Okay? Now, so part C here, then what is the revised safe withdrawal rate percentage? 0%. So the healthy people, they can't be taking any money out. Because remember we said they're going to spend on average $600,000, and they only have $600,000. Over here, they have what? A 3%. So they went from 5 to what? 3. Time to start eating fatty foods and stop exercising. Fern. So Fern says, it's time to quit living so healthily because we're going to spend way more money on health care. That is one way to look at it, isn't it? It's kind of ironic, isn't it? Most people who are taking care of themselves think they're going to spend less on health care when we're getting all sorts of very entertaining comments now. So do you see that people who are taking good care of themselves are healthy? They think they're going to be spending less on health care. They're going to be spending more. But even people that are not living healthily or have health problems, should they be worried about health care costs, as we see right here? Should they be worried about it still? I mean, the healthy people need to be worried about it, but how about the unhealthy people? Do they need to be worried? And how unhealthy are these people? I mean, with high blood pressure and some arthritis, how many of your clients do you have something to that degree? Geez, almost all my clients had something like that. Okay? So what's the lesson here? What's the point I'm trying to make? What's the point I'm trying to make here? With all this data, we're all screwed, Tony. Prepare, Bruce. That's exactly what I say. We need to prepare. And prepare for what? It's more than just the 4% rule of income. Yes, we need to plan for increased health care costs. Absolutely. So what do we use? What do we use for our preparation for long-term care? First of all, do we ever sell long-term care when we're bringing a new client on? Do we ever sell long-term care when we're bringing a client on? No, that's right, Tony. Why not? Why don't we ever sell long-term care when the underwriting, Tony says, exactly. Because when you're bringing a client on, the last thing you want is to slow down the process because you've got underwriting going on. Because if the insurance company turns them down because they have poor health, who are they going to blame, the insurance company or you? The insurance company turns them down because they're not healthy enough. Who are they going to? Yeah, you, exactly, Bill. So that means what? Are they going to say, okay, I guess we won't do the long-term care, but we'll do everything else with you? Or is the deal everything done at that point? Everything is done. No more client, exactly. So what we do is we go through the 21-point checklist, right? Now, is the 21-point checklist, the long-term care is on the 21-point checklist, but do I recommend that you actually talk about long-term care at that meeting? Not in depth for sure. If at all, say, hey, this is something we'll take care of or address when you come on board, but we don't want to get into a long discussion of it. Now, once they come on board, then we're going to, or should we not deal with it once they come on board? Yeah, I mean, what do these numbers tell us? We sure in the heck better be dealing with it when they come on board, right? Because these numbers are telling us it's going to have a little effect or a lot. Yeah, so now we're getting the win-win-win is certainly one option you could do. But we have another one, which is the one-way. So how many of you how long has it been since you guys have looked at the one-way presentation? Because what is the one-way presentation? What does that product protect you against? So let's see how the win-win-win is absolutely an excellent place for this, absolutely. The other one is the one-way presentation. So what's the one-way protect you against? Yeah, long-term care costs, absolutely it does. Because it'll give you 150 to 200% protection on your assets for long-term care. What else does it protect you against? Very good, Matt. Loss of Social Security income when a spouse dies. Loss of Social Security income when a spouse dies. And thus, it also protects you against what? what else is it? If it protects you against the loss of Social Security income when the spouse dies, it also protects you against what? Final expenses, yeah. Running out of money, Michael, exactly. So the one-way product protects you in presentation, allows the client to realize, wait a minute. There's a way to keep my money safe and guaranteed, a way to keep my money liquid, a way to protect myself from long-term care, a way to protect myself from the loss of that income and lifestyle when I lose a Social Security check, and a way to prevent me from running out of money. Guys, is there any better investment than that? One that is guaranteed, one that is liquid, one that protects you from long-term care, protects you from loss of a Social Security income and loss of lifestyle, and protects you from running out of money. Do you know of any other investment that does that? Any other type of account that does that? So if there's no other account that does that, how good should we be at the one-way presentation? If there's no account, and I could talk, I wish Jerry was on the phone here. Guys, people that have done the one-way presentation, guess how many people at the end of the one-way presentation say, I don't want that, I'm not interested? 0, exactly, Rick. And Matt's shown it to people, so he knows. He's saying nobody. So, guys, be really good at this presentation. Now, obviously, there's underwriting here, so it doesn't work for everybody, but it's simplified underwriting. So please get good at the one-way presentation because of all these things that we talked about. If you do the one-way and the product that it utilizes, guess what's going to happen to these numbers? They go right back up to 4 and 5% because you're protected against that long-term care and loss of income, loss of lifestyle. Does that make sense to everybody? So this was a half-hour. This was a half-hour educational infomercial on getting good at the one-way, because the one-way, there's nothing better than the one-way because it's liquid, it's safe, it protects against long-term care costs, which allows our income to be higher. It protects against loss of income when we lose a spouse because of loss of Social Security, so it allows our income to be higher. It prevents us from losing our lifestyle, and it prevents us from running out of money. So will you be doing training on the one-way? Well, we have the presentation up on exactly how you present that. So if you go through that and don't or have any questions, please give myself a call. I'll help you. Give Jerry a call. He can help you. Give Jeff Van Grinsven a call. He can help you. Or Jeff Freeberg. They can help you. Okay? So where is that on the website? That is under the implementation portion of the website, and it's called the Part 1, I think, or is it Part 2, Missy? Help me.
It's Part 2.
The Part 2 one-way presentation. Part 2 one-way. So I don't know why we call it Part 2, but it's been that way for so long, we're loath to change it. So it's the part under implementation, under Part 2, the one-way yellow pad presentation. So I think we named it 3 different things: Part 2, one-way, and yellow pads. How do you like that for clarity?
Yeah, the Part 1 was just reminding them that they quickly go through and review the disclosure meeting. So that it's just a step 2, I guess. It shouldn't really be Part 2, but step 2 of the last meeting, of the implementation meeting.
Okay. So super. I just want this is my every once in a while I think we have so much stuff on the website, guys get lost and they forget the tools that they have available. And the presentation I have for the one-way, I've yet to have somebody that's presented that to somebody where the person did not want that thing. So please, if you haven't looked at it for a while, go and take a look at that under implementation, Part 2, the one-way yellow pad presentation. So any questions, concerns? Otherwise, we're going to wrap it up early today.
And Mike, I just wanted to remind everyone, next Monday is President's Day, but our office is open and we will be having a call as normal.
Cool. If you have any questions on this product, give ECA a call and they'll help you with all that. So Trevor, help me out. He says, "Thanks, I think." Why are you? Help me where there's some trepidation there. Let's see if I get an answer back from him. Oh, no, there we go. Confusion with the one. Oh, confusion. He says thanks. I think because I was giving him crazy directions on how to get there on the website. I get it, Trevor. So hopefully everybody gets how to get there now. So, and right, Bill, that product now has is even more flexible than it used to be. So have a great day today, guys. I appreciate you being on the call. A great day, great week, and we'll talk to you. Jeff will talk to you on Friday. Thanks, everybody. Have a good one.